I didn't want a husband who would be like my dad. I wanted someone who's full of jokes, someone who would laugh with me, play with me, and oh, thank God, I got the package right. They are doing a try and error method as they are learning along the way. They were not equipped. They don't know what a family is. They don't know how to treat a woman. They are learning from the TV. Everything you have is because you have thought about that thing. Women, let's allow our husbands to go and work. When he comes back home, I allow him to rest. From a man who is broken, I learned that they need a shoulder to cry on. So I had to learn to support him, be supportive. I had to support him in whatsoever he was doing. And I went ahead to pray for him so that he has strength. But we also need to take care of the boy child because they are feeling neglected. A kind of a person that I was looking for in my life. He made me complete. He brought out the love aspect out of me. There is a voice that is needed out there for men, for males.
Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Tich Tanyanyua on Faithland Publishers. We always bring you the best of the best. We have in studio for the third time running an amazing author, leader, voice, pastor, wife, mother, friend, and she also happens to be the woman that's been running my behind the scenes for, whoa, how long has it been?
Since 2008.
Wow. Since 2008, running the office, running our everything. She literally runs Dr. Francisca and I in terms of calendar, schedules, everything. So this is really an exciting author for me. It's not just an author in terms of somebody who's written a book, but somebody that we've been very, very close to for many, many years. We've known her and Zamani, her husband, for 20 something years. Oh, more than that, actually.
Yes, it's been more than that.
Yeah, almost 30 years, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's been a long time. I remember being at their wedding, and they had that was like, Zamani, her husband, he's a very, very creative man. He's the one who he sets up these flowers that you're seeing here. He's an educator. He's also an author, a writer. He's a speaker. He's a trainer. So it's an amazing couple. But he also has amazing skills, when it comes to culinary things. So I remember coming and I was seeing the meal and the kebabs. And this is like so many years ago. It was my first time seeing kebabs. And I'm thinking, why do they put this meat on a stick? That was funny. But welcome, Tandi. It's so good to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yes. We've been talking, this is our third session, talking about this powerful book that you have written, Unleashing the King Within. A very great resource, talking about raising boys and empowering men. Interesting title. Just tell us a little bit what provoked this title.
What provoked the title is the fact that every man is standing in place of our God, who is our maker, who is the king of the universe. Men are kings in their homes. Our homes are a little kingdom that is led by a king, our husbands or the men, and they are standing in place of God. So they are the kings who are building kingdoms. Why did I say raising boys? We raise boys to be like their dad. And why are we empowering older men? There are some older men who didn't get a chance to be equipped, who didn't get a chance to be empowered. They still feel, God, I am lacking here and there. And anyway, as long as you're on earth, you still need to learn. You cannot stop learning. So we continue to empower each other.
Powerful. Unleashing. I like that statement. We're living in a kingdom, and our homes are little kingdoms. That's powerful. So I'll be going to my kingdom just now, and there's a beautiful queen, and we have citizens in the king that happen to be our children. That's powerful. But today, as we are having this conversation, we want to focus and zero in on a particular conversation that I found very intriguing in this book. And if you're just joining us, this is Dr. Tich with Pastor Tandi in studio, and we are discussing this powerful book, Unleashing the King Within. Share the link with somebody, invite somebody, and say, hey, it's time for you to get empowered. Share this with a man, share this with a woman, a mother, a wife who needs to understand how men think, how men behave, how men operate, and how to minister to a man and unleash the king in the home. It has great chapters. It has 9 great chapters: manhood, the seed, value of decision making, man, the worshiper, what is communication. I think that one really is an interesting one, because whenever we do not premarital, post-marital coaching, when couples come and there's been wars and challenges and storms, one of the big things that we hear is, my husband does not communicate. My husband is not a communicator, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, that we're not talking about that one, but it's an interesting conversation. Maybe we'll touch on it later. Love and compassion, confidence, men and mental health, confronting the silent struggle. This is one of the number one killers for men. Invisible scars, unseen battles men face in abuse, and the voice of the Father in the marketplace. When I talk about the marketplace, I get excited. So that was my favorite topic. So by virtue of me being the publisher and her father, spiritual father, and her boss, I said we have to discuss this chapter 9. It's my prerogative, it's my constitutional right. So let's go to chapter 9. And I want to hear from the author. I'm talking to the author right here in studio. I want you to talk to me and help me. When I read this chapter, it really did stand out. And I would actually almost say, somewhere in the future, we need to write a whole book based on chapter 9. Because each one of these sections that is in the book is, I know you wrote about it quite briefly. It's about a paragraph or 2 paragraphs for each section, but I think it's very loaded. So let's go into this a little bit. The assignment that men have in the marketplace. Let's talk.
Yes, I know. Marketplace is your place.
Yes.
And marketplace is your place, and it is something that you love. It is like an ISO. So it had to be written. I wrote
Absolutely.
it. It had to be written and discussed anyway. When you do not have a good background, when you were not groomed well, it's going to affect you in the marketplace. When you are a man of no integrity, when you are not disciplined, it's going to affect you in the marketplace. Therefore, the marketplace is like you writing an exam. When you were not loved, it will show in the marketplace. So I'll go on to just touch on the subtopics that we wrote about. The Father is a source of spiritual strength. When your spiritual strength, when your spirit is not sober, when you are not strong as a Christian, you cannot stand the corruption that is out there. You cannot even do anything because you do not know who you are. You don't know the vision at all. Hence, you are doomed, or you are leading a life of no direction.
So wait. I like that. I like that, because we're faced with a generation where the wickedness, the corruption seems to be at an all-time high. We are dealing with issues of abuse, issues of corruption, issues of crime, issues of all kinds of perversion. So you're saying when fathers or when men are not shaped well spiritually, we will see a rise to this.
Yes, we will see a rise to this because you do not have anyone that you fear. You know, the fear of the Lord will hinder someone infringing pain to someone else. I'm not going to give you this deal because I need maybe half of the money that you're going to have. And what you are left with is not even enough to finish the project. Already, you don't know who God is. You are in any position given by God to practice God's authority. If you are a director, you are a director there because God wants you there. If you are someone who's sweeping the floor, God says, work as if you are working unto the Lord. So there is no one who's got authority to ask for a bribe. There is no one who's got authority not to give others deals because they are in authority. No, you are there because God wants you there. If you have the fear of the Lord, you will do things with integrity because of the fear of the Lord.
Wow, that's powerful. So, a source of spiritual strength. So, if the father doesn't have spiritual strength, the family is in trouble.
Yes, it is. Because everything you are doing, you are not disciplined. We are called disciples because you are living a disciplined life.
Yeah.
So, your spiritual life disciplines you. There are things that you cannot do because you know God doesn't allow you to do them. As a Christian, your spiritual life governs everything that you are doing.
So, if you're a father and perhaps your family is falling apart, the marriage is not going well, your children are wayward, lost on drugs, or really messed up in all kinds of issues, what they're looking for is spiritual strength. And fathers are supposed to bring that. That leads us to the next one, a father as a model of integrity and honor.
Can
Oh,
I just add on to what you
yes,
said?
yes.
Father is a source of strength. Fathers are prophets. Fathers are priests and kings in their home.
Uh-huh.
Fathers are supposed to have a service in their home because you are a priest,
Ooh.
you are a prophet in the home. So, in order for us to bring up a sound young man spiritually, we need fathers to lead prayer at home.
Why do men struggle to lead prayer at home? Why is it so difficult to gather our children, our wives, and say, "Come, let's pray. Let's stand together. Let's agree."
I believe it is the upbringing that they lacked. Um, they haven't seen it being practiced, therefore, they don't know how to do it.
Do you struggle to lead prayer? Do you struggle to lead your family in worship, in prayer, in reading the word as a man, as a father? If so, that's going to open the door for the enemy to come in. God is designed for the family to have the proper structure. You are the leader as the father. You are the leader. You're supposed to bring or be like the book says, the source of spiritual strength. Very important conversation. Yeah,
Ye-
let's continue. Where were we? The father as the model for integrity and honor.
They say, monkey see, monkey do. You impart who you are, like what John C. Maxwell says. You impart who you are. You don't have to say it, you just have to practice it because impartation happens spiritually. That's why I say it's your spiritual life as a father, as a husband, has to be strong. Therefore, whatsoever you are going to do thereafter is important because you are imparting. Your kids are watching, they are learning, they are observing, they are tapping into your spirit. You know, as you walk around at home, if you are not a father who's full of integrity, you are rubbing it onto your children. They are going to be 2 times worse than what you are. They are going to be 4 times worse than what you are. Other people are suffering because there is something that they didn't like about their fathers. And they had said, I'll never do what my father used to do. But they find themselves doing exactly that. And we wonder why. It's because you impart who you are. you keep on observing the same thing. That is what is registering into your mind, and your mind keeps record of both good and bad, the neural pathways. And it's sometimes so difficult to then unlearn those things, except if you make a decision to change. You have to make a decision to change. So a father must be a father who is honorable in the society. Your kids are going to emulate exactly that. I'm not saying they cannot go otherwise. They make decisions as they grow up. Remember, even God cannot force me to be what I don't want to be. So, as a father, your job is to equip, to teach your child in the way. Along the way, they may go astray, but God says they will not go away. What are you going to do? You are going to go back to God and say, God, I have taught the word. I have lived a life of
Yeah.
integrity and honor. Let the word manifest in my offspring. And it's going to
Powerful.
be like so.
That's powerful. That's powerful. This is a major one because we're living, as we have emphasized, in a generation that is desperately, desperately looking for answers, looking for real men to arise and address issues of corruption, issues of wickedness, debauchery at all levels of society. And it takes real men standing up to make a difference. And then a father as an example. You know, when I was reading this before the book was even published, as I went through this, I said to myself, it's quite interesting because with each one of these I can rate myself. I was rating myself 1 to 10. 10, I'm very good at it. 1, I'm not so good at it. Then I was saying to myself, some of these I actually need to work on. So let's go to a father as an example of love.
Father is an example of love. Generally, men don't really show love because traditionally, as people of this color, men were supposed to be tough. Men doesn't cry, which is good. It's good. When you're always crying, there is no one who's going to submit to you. But loving has got nothing to do with maybe crying and. So what am I saying? I'm saying, as a father, express love to your kids. The prodigal son, the father was said to be standing and watching. He was standing and watching. What was he doing? The love was shown. The love was there. Why am I saying that? He was not just standing, he was praying. You show your love when you pray for your family. You show your love when you are concerned. My boy, can I see your books? Let's talk. You don't seem to be happy. Why is your countenance down? You know, you are concerned about both big things and small things. Men are created like God. He says he knows the number of hair that has fallen. The number of hair that fell today. As I plaited my hair before, I wore the other hair. God says, I know the hair that fell today. He says, I know the tears that have dropped. That's the kind of love that we want to see fathers showing to their sons. When you are loved, you cannot be hostile. You cannot behave otherwise because inside of you are genes of not disappointing your father. When you do something wrong, as a son, it's gonna rub you so badly that you go and confess before you are even asked. That's why the prodigal son was able to come back and say, you know what? In my father's house, in my father's house, is your son able to come back when they mess outside and say,
In my father's house.
Papa,
That's powerful.
I have made a mistake.
That's powerful.
Forgive me. I don't mind being your servant. Because he had seen that the servants were living a nice life. Why? The father was not only a father to his sons, but even to the servants at home. Can the society call you father? Can the world trust you enough to leave their girl children with you? Can we trust you to leave our sons with you without you sodomizing them or abusing them, whichever way?
That's brilliant.
That is the father's love that is being looked for in the world today. Can we trust you as a father? Because if you are full of love, we can trust you.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Thank you so much for that. If you've just joined us, this is Dr. Titch with Pastor Tandi Ndlovu in studio, the author of Unleashing the King Within, a brilliant book addressing and speaking to men, looking at hard issues, deep issues that men are going through, and how we can, as a society, engage around these conversations and help unleash the king within. She made a powerful statement earlier on that we are living in a kingdom, and each home is a small kingdom. It is a microcosm of a kingdom, and each kingdom has a king. But if the king has not been trained, if the king is abusive, if the king is broken, hurt, and wandering and confused, then that kingdom is in trouble. And so many homes today are in trouble. And that's what we're talking about. Doing a little analysis and finding out what it means to be a father. The next one is a father is an example of handling relationships. Now, notice each one of these is talking about the example. So there is tremendous pressure on us as men.
Yes, there is.
Oh, there's pressure on the man. I think I once bumped into a strange song on YouTube. It popped up on the thing, and the guy wrote a song called "To Be a Man," and he's talking about how tough it is to be a man. That people expect so much from you at home, at work, everywhere. There are great expectations for you to be a man. And the pressure sometimes causes you to begin to break, and you're hurting and you're frustrated. And because men don't like talking a lot of the times, they just crumble and fall, and then they are dead, or something has happened, a stroke, etc. And you're wondering what happened to this man. But let's continue. We've got a few more minutes before we have to stop, so we can cover maybe two more. The next one is handling relationships, an example in handling relationships.
Yes, handling relationships, it's important, it's paramount. If your father couldn't get along with his sister, for example, or even with the wife, your mother, then it becomes a challenge for you. It becomes a challenge for you to go into the marketplace and work well with others. All you know is a relationship that is full of pain, a relationship that is not good enough. Therefore, fathers must handle relationships well. You must be able to sit down and talk issues out. Don't avoid issues. It's important to talk. You know, relationships are places of testing. They will test your love, they will test your patience, your kindness, and your character and integrity and honor. Some people come in your life, you walk along for a very long time, and along the line, you may make a mistake as a father or as a man, and they start to just paint you all black. They forget the good things that you have done. But know the hand of the enemy. Remember, the thief comes not to steal, but the thief comes not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Already, the enemy doesn't want people who get along well. Therefore, relationships are a place where we walk in unity, we walk in love. So the enemy will come to want to steal away love and peace. As a man, go back and pray about both big decisions that you are making. If you want to maybe stop a certain relationship with your friends, and how you will do it. The how is the most important thing. Sometimes just keeping quiet and growing a distance is okay. Sometimes going to a person and say, you know what, my friend, I think this is where we end our road. It's also important, so that there is no bad feelings that come along the way. Because if you cannot handle relationships well, it's going to affect your business. I love the story of David. He had Jonathan, and it just Jonathan was his place of comfort. Jonathan was his place where he could learn how to run a kingdom. Because remember, he was busy with the animals. He didn't know how to run the kingdom.
Yeah.
So he needed someone to give him the feel, to make him see they're good. He also, David also went along to keep some enemies close. How do you keep your enemies close? He kept some enemies close. Why am I saying enemies close? He then says to Solomon, so and so, you need to make sure the blood that they shed, they pay for them. So and so, you will see how fit you're going to deal with them. But he had walked with those people, and everything else looked like it was good, you know. As a man, you need wisdom on how to handle your relationships. So, prayer again is important. Read the book of Proverbs. You will gain more wisdom on how to handle relationships.
That's powerful. We need to be an example of relationships. Many people are in dysfunction because they lack the example. I mean, this chapter goes on and on. We're out of time, so we have to stop. It talks about an example in matters of integrity. A father is an example of love and respect. A father is an example in matters of sexual conduct, and that's a big one. Many children are messed up because fathers are setting the wrong example.
Very
Girlfriends, pardon?
I said very true.
You want to comment on that one, and as a last comment, yeah, because I think that's important. Many fathers are setting the wrong examples. They have got girlfriends. They are cheating. They are flirting. They have no proper conduct in this matter.
Yes, as a man, you need to be disciplined in terms of your sexual desires. You know, the greatest men didn't fall because they didn't make the right decisions, but because they made one silly mistake just to have a side chick, and everything else went out of the windows. You need to be a man. Your integrity is seen by how many children you have outside your marital home, your marital bed. What you do with your mates. Can your wife leave you with a mate and trust you? Can your wife leave you with young girls and trust you? You know, can she stand and say, you know what, come rain, come sunshine, my husband can discipline himself? When I'm saying discipline, I'm not saying you won't look at a woman and see how beautiful they are. You will, it's normal. But after seeing, you are going to say, no, it's not mine. I'm not going to lay my hands on it. That's the discipline we need. And it takes a father to discipline their children. It starts with food at home. I always tell people, don't overeat. And they say, why? It's discipline. If you can't discipline eating habits, you won't be able to discipline your zip from being opened. So discipline in the smallest things. You know, my father used to say when we were cooking, use a cup of a tea, not a mug, a cup of a tea. And you will ask, do you live to eat or you eat to live? And I never used to understand that. But now I do. Discipline is paramount.
Powerful. Be disciplined. An example of sexual conduct. A father is an example of personal care and presentation. Grooming your son, grooming the family. Father is an example of emotional intelligence, is an example in love, is an example in handling. In handling relationships, managing relationships, he is an example of sound decision making, and a father is an example of setting priorities. He is an example of resilience, and a father is an example of providing for the family. Powerful book. We have been having a conversation about the unleashing the king within. Unleashing the king within. This is for men. This is for men to understand what it means to be a man, what it means to deal with some of the challenges that we go through. And for women that have to deal with a man, a husband, a child, a son, an uncle, whatever male people figures are in your life, how do you handle them? This is biblical wisdom encapsulated in this powerful book by Pastor Tandi. Tandi, what are your closing remarks to the audience?
My closing remarks are, as a father, the responsibility of a young man who is sound lies on you. You may say, I don't have sons. You are a father to someone else. There is someone who's looking up to you without you knowing it. You are in a church setup. You are in a community. You know, there is someone who's looking at you and emulating the car that you are driving. After they have seen the car that you are driving, they are looking at how did you get the car. So people are forever studying you. Young men are forever studying you. You need to be a good example. You need to teach them. Take 2 minutes, take 5 minutes of your time just to sit with a young man and coach them. Make a difference in life. There are young people who don't have fathers. Anyway, they don't have fathers because probably they have passed on. But other fathers just decide not to be there. Be that father, fill in that gap, you know. Hold someone else by hand and walk with them the journey of life. But it will take you to be the good father, to be the good example.
Amen. And to be a good father, read this book. I want to encourage you, go to the contact us on the contact details on the screen. Place an order for your copy of Unleashing the King Within. Begin the journey. Read. I mean, it's not a heavy read. You can finish it in probably an hour and a half, which is what it took me to read it several times. An hour and a half, you can be done. But don't read it so fast. Read a chapter, think, meditate on it, then read another chapter, think, meditate, apply, and let it challenge you, change you, transform you, and be a tool for change in your life. But get in touch with us. This book will change your life, and it'll help us begin a movement that shall minister to different men. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
I didn't want a husband who would be like my dad. I wanted someone who's full of jokes, someone who would laugh with me, play with me, and oh, thank God, I got the package right. They are doing a try and error method as they are learning along the way. They were not equipped. They don't know what a family is. They don't know how to treat a woman. They are learning from the TV. Everything you have is because you have thought about that thing. Women, let's allow our husbands to go and work. When he comes back home, I allow him to rest. From a man who is broken, I learned that they need a shoulder to cry on. So I had to learn to support him, be supportive. I had to support him in whatsoever he was doing, and I went ahead to pray for him so that he has strength. But we also need to take care of the boy child because they are feeling neglected. The kind of a person that I was looking for in my life, he made me complete. He brought out the love aspect out of me. There is a voice that is needed out there for men, for males.